No!
Oh! That was cool,
There's
though.
5 things that happened at once. Oh! What was that? Here we go. Alright. Get out of here with that. This is how you Falcon punch someone. That's how you do it, boy.
He's not happy that I beat him.
Yo, Falconer, peek him.
Open it.
Nice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the OPSEAT video podcast. I'm your host, Droopy Jors, the social media director for OPSEAT. We created this podcast to introduce you to successful gamers who have used various strategies to build personal brands and make profit with them. Please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your live streams or podcasts. Today, we are joined by EpikWhale. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
It's definitely a pleasure. And for those that may not know, what would most people recognize you for?
I got third place in the solos for the Fortnite World Cup.
I mean, that's extremely exciting, and I'm sure, a lot of people want to be in the shoes that you're in right now. But when and how did you first find out you were able to compete at a professional level?
Yeah, so in the first week of the open qualifiers for the World Cup, I got fourth place, and you needed second to qualify for the World Cup finals in New York. So after the first week, I was like, wait, I was really close. I have like a real shot at, going pro and making something big out of this. And that was the week that I realized that.
That's incredible. Were you doing like any kind of like training before, or were you just streaming and playing games on
Yeah,
Twitch?
so I mean, it started out like my Fortnite career. Like I just liked playing the game, and I got to a level where playing casually was just kind of a little too easy. So at first, I just played scrims just for fun,
Yeah.
not even really with the intent of ever playing at this like level or anything. So I just played scrims because it was more competition, and I enjoy that. I'm a very competitive person, and it ended up just paying off without even me without even it wasn't even on purpose. I don't know.
That's pretty, like, that's immaculate right there. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are probably wondering, how long were you creating content online, or even playing Fortnite before you got into this position?
Fortnite was the first game that I started streaming on Twitch and making YouTube videos and stuff like that. Before I played a little bit of CS:GO and PUBG, but I never really made any YouTube videos or streamed it.
CS:GO is definitely a fun game, and I'm sure that helped out with a lot of like the aim mechanics and everything like that for Fortnite. And I mean, since then, for making like your YouTube videos for Fortnite and streaming on Twitch, how would you say placing the Fortnite World Cup changed how you create content online?
Yeah, it's definitely, after I placed, it's definitely my name's out there, and it's just important for me to keep making content so that I always have that kind of, I don't really like to say backup, but like kind of like that safety, like in case my competitive career goes downhill, then I always have I can always make YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Definitely. I mean, like, bringing it back to CS:GO, there are top competitive players like Jason R, who has the ability to be on competitive teams but prefers making content. Do you prefer competing, or do you prefer creating content?
Yeah, I definitely prefer competing. That's just always how I've been. I've always been a very competitive person. Growing up playing baseball like my whole life, yeah, it's just, I've always been a competitor, and I mean, I still enjoy like streaming once in a while, and I love making YouTube videos. I like seeing how they end up and stuff, and yeah.
Definitely. I mean, like, everything's kind of just blown up after the Fortnite World Cup, and your name's definitely out there. And just kind of curious, how did you get the name EpikWhale?
Yeah, so kind of a lame story, but kind of not. It was actually my brother and I used to share an Xbox like 10 years ago. We used to share an Xbox Live account, and he's my older brother, so it was his account, and he just named it EpikWhale. I don't really know how, but I just kind of kept the name.
There you go. I mean, at least it
Yeah.
has some kind of a story behind it, and it's not just
Yeah.
like random name generator.
Yeah. Hmm.
So with you being, someone with the competitive nature that you have, um, what was your reaction when, NRG found out about you, or, did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them?
Um, I don't remember exactly.
Just kind of fell into place.
Yeah, so I was talking to a few other teams at the time, but Energy was always like the main team that I always like had the most respect for, just because like their Fortnite team is just insanely good. They're definitely the best Fortnite team. They have the best roster, and so it definitely was attractive to me.
And now you're a part of it. Like, how does
Yeah,
that make you feel?
I mean it's just it's crazy. I mean like that, and just being good enough to get third in the World Cup, like all that stuff is just crazy to me.
It's incredible. And, at this point, after, a couple weeks have passed, is it kind of like, are you settling into like it being slightly normal now, or?
Yeah, I mean, nothing for me really changed that much. I still, the Fortnite Championship Series is up now, and I'm still like focusing on that. Like, I'm not the type of person to like, okay, I got third, I did really good. I'm gonna take a little break, like, or like take a month off or something,
Yeah,
or like
definitely.
stop competing. Like, I'm just gonna keep going and keep trying my best.
And then, you've been doing a lot of training. You've been having, really nice rosters for even, your trios and your duos and everything like that. Um,
Mhm.
and now you're starting to get recognition from streamers like Tifu and many others. Or is content creation always just going to be on the, kind of like the back burner, or?
We'll see where it goes, but I don't see either Fortnite slowing down how much they're putting into competitive, or myself falling off as a competitive player anytime soon. So until one of those things happens, like being a competitive player will always be my main focus.
Definitely. And, let's say if there was another game that came out, or, maybe some of the games that are already out, if, let's say, you could be competing in any other game besides Fortnite. I know you're
Mhm.
talking about a little bit of CSGO and PUBG. If you could have picked any other game besides Fortnite to be competitive in, what would it have been?
I would like, it's hard to say CS:GO, just because like when I watch CS:GO pros, like I feel like they're so ahead of like the average player. Like Fortnite was a relatively new game, so it's kind of easy to hop in the competitive scene, just because there's no players that have been playing it or watching it for 15 years or
Yeah.
whatever, like in CS:GO. So I would say CS:GO, but I feel like I'll never be that good at the game, or it'll take me a long time.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, we'll go CS.
it seems like you've got some pretty raw talent to be able to jump into a relatively new game. I mean, when
Yeah.
did you jump into Fortnite? Was it like some of the early seasons? Was it day one?
Uh, it was around season 3 I started playing.
There you go.
I think maybe season 5 I started scrimming, but yeah.
And a lot of eyes, have realized that you're a pretty young player. How do you balance, this newfound success in school?
It's just like, I guess the main tip I could give is just use your time wisely. Have good time management. I actually last year I had pretty good grades as I qualified for the World Cup. So it's basically just like you go home, do your homework as fast as you can, and then go hop on and play scrims.
There you go.
That's what
And
my schedule looked like.
was there ever a point where your parents, were begging you to get off the computer until they found out that, you can actually make something of this?
Yeah, they were always, their deal was as long as my grades are good, then I can, play as much as I did. And I kept my grades up, so they let me play.
How much time would you say you did pour into Fortnite after you got all your homework done?
Um, Probably around 6 to 7 hours a day, like on a school day.
That's a good amount of time right
Uh,
there.
it is.
Did it change the way that like people kind of like talk about you at school or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my friends are pretty like chill about it, and I'm not one to like go around bragging about it to my school friends. But yeah, they've been good. It's been good.
There you go. And going back to kind of like streaming and Twitch and things like that, um, when you were first, creating your content on Twitch and everything like that, you were more so in like the double digit stream numbers. And around
Yeah.
April, everything's just kind of like literally overnight just blown up and you're in the
Yeah.
triple digit numbers. Can you tell us about what happened in April and what caused that?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure what you're referring to is when I got hosted by Fortnite after I qualified for solos in week 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so usually since NA West is like the last region to go in the qualifiers, whoever wins will get hosted by the Fortnite stream after they're done casting it. So I won the 3rd week and they hosted me for around like 15,000 viewers, and from there my viewers just blew up.
You just managed to
That's
keep
crazy.
everything pretty dang consistent. And,
Yeah.
that's not something a lot of people, have the opportunity to, or as good as you to be able to accomplish. So again, it's awesome. I hope you recognize that because it is like a tremendous, tremendous feat.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, did you ever see yourself doing, anything remotely close to this?
Not really. I mean, like as of a few years ago, I was just like playing CS, then I kind of got a little bored. My friends started playing PUBG, so I just played PUBG because it was fun, and then,
Yeah.
I played Fortnite because it was fun, and it all kind of just blew up. I don't know.
I mean, you talk about kind of like keeping your grades up and making sure that school is getting done first before everything. I mean, what would you have picked as a career outside of gaming if this wasn't an option?
So my plans, I don't know, it's kind of vague, but something related to like business or economics or something. I'm definitely more of a math person, so just something on that side of things.
There you go. And I mean, a lot of people probably talk about the prize money that came along with the Fortnite World Cup. Going into hopefully if you were going to go into business or economics, um, is it kind of something you're just going to put away in savings, or are you going to be investing that money?
I still have to talk to my dad, and my brother is smart about those things too. So I still got to talk to my family about that. But I'm definitely not going to be spending it on anything now. My plans are just mostly to save it for whatever comes in the future because I know I'll need it more then.
Definitely, that's extremely smart right there. Um, especially considering certain changes in like the blow up of streaming as profession and competitive gaming.
Mhm, for
Um,
sure.
what's your opinion on the current state of streaming as profession?
I mean, it's cool. It's really cool that people can do that like for a living. It definitely is revolutionary. Like, all if you said that like 20 years ago that you could play video games and people will watch them live for a living and make a lot of money if you're really big, that's just like crazy.
Yeah, because back then you might just be watching your older brother or your father be playing a game on like the
Yeah.
NES,
Hmm.
probably playing Pong or something.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I know there's a lot of things that have happened recently. You just recently got Twitter verified, your
Hmm.
Twitch partner, all of this, within the year. Um,
Yeah.
have any other streaming platforms kind of, fit into your mindset, or we always be on Twitch?
Um, unless they give me a really good reason to move, I'm always gonna be on Twitch. Yeah.
There you go. Have you seen any kind of like changes, at Twitch as like a platform since you started, or is it kind of always just been the same when you've been on there?
I'd say it's been pretty similar. Nothing's really changed too much. I don't know. I don't really go too deep into I don't really go too much deeper than just hitting start stream, end stream. Like that's just what I like to do. I don't know. I don't really care too much about the stuff past that.
There you go. And I know that you just hit start stream and end stream, and you also create content on YouTube. Is
Hmm.
there one that you prefer? Either recording some of your gameplay and editing that, or do you prefer hitting the start stream button?
They both got their pros and cons, but I'd say I like YouTube, like posting to YouTube a little more, just because it's more highlight based, and I personally like to watch YouTube highlights rather than watching like a longer stream or something, just because you get like the most important parts, basically.
Yeah, there's never a dull moment ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole
Hmm.
point of it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so, what advice can you give to someone trying to be either, a competitor or a streamer?
Yeah, so you definitely got to balance either school or work, Definitely, I wouldn't advise just quitting unless you have like quitting your job or school unless you have a really strong like fan base and you're really pulling numbers and stuff. So just keep a balanced lifestyle, keep your options open, and just grind, time management, all that stuff's important.
There's a lot of people who, they don't do that,
Yeah,
especially whether it's CSGO competitive scene or Fortnite.
yeah.
Um, but what would you say kind of sets you apart as a competitor? That kind of, is it your aim mechanics, or is it more building, or just the fact that you can balance those as well for Fortnite?
Um, Obviously, to be a good player, you got to be good at everything. So I'm definitely a fairly well-rounded player, but I'd say one thing that sets me apart is my mindset. I'm able to like realize what I've done wrong in a game or a scrim or whatever, and apply that, and rarely make that mistake ever again in the future.
That's definitely, self-analyzing is probably one of the most important
Yeah.
things. Now, being a part of NRG, do you have coaching tools available to you now that you take advantage of?
Yeah. So for the World Cup, before the finals, they got me a coach, and that was really helpful. Go over like storm surge tags and stuff in Fortnite, and it definitely helped a lot. And I was able to play really consistent because of that.
What would you say would be like the number one tip that a coach was able to give you before that Fortnite World Cup?
Before the World Cup, I've never really had a coach. It's always just been like me VOD reviewing my own games or me with a friend, or
Yeah.
my friend group VOD reviewing each other's games and stuff.
Was there any like one thing that the coach said that like really stuck out to you while you were playing?
Um, no, I mean, it was mostly just like small things to help me stay consistent, I'd say.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's been an incredible journey from where you kind of started and where you're at now. And over the years, there are bound to be things that don't necessarily go the way that you had hoped. Was there like a most memorable failure or learning experience, in your path that happened?
Um, so I'd say mostly like I started off, I guess the start of my competitive career was the first week of World Cup online qualifiers, and I started off pretty good, but I definitely had some bad weeks, and those just motivate me to try harder. Also, the first week of the Fortnite Championship Series, I didn't do too good with my trio, so I changed some things up, and now I'm feeling like really good.
And things have been kind of just on the up and up and up, and
Mm.
there's been a lot of turmoil over things like adding mechs to the game. Do you see a lot
Yeah.
of that outside of scrim? Do you even play normal matchmaking anymore?
No, I don't like. I barely ever play normal matchmaking. But yeah, as far as the mechs go, it's hard to talk about it. Kind of sucks. I don't know. You gotta do your best. If you can't abuse it, then you can try to abuse it. But sometimes you can't. You just gotta try your best.
Definitely. Um, you know, is there any place in particular where you would recommend people to go if they wanted to learn more about what you do, like your Twitter or your YouTube?
Mhm. I mean, I'd say you can check out my YouTube. I guess. I mean, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch doesn't really matter. But anywhere you can kind of see me play, either live if you want. You can go to my Twitch. You can watch my highlights on YouTube mostly, and my Twitter is just whatever I want to tweet about.
And
Twitter's fun like that.
Twitter is fun. Twitter is fun,
Yeah.
and a lot of people you probably just amassed like a massive amount of fans and followers and things like that. Are you excited to start meeting some of these fans at any events that you go to, or is this kind of like a newfound spotlight that you either enjoy or maybe you're a little shy from?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little shy, but it's still really cool that people notice me I've only been noticed a few times since the World Cup at my house, like in public. But yeah, it's really fun. It's like it's really weird to just go outside and someone notices you. It's kind of funny.
I mean, are you going to be going to any events like TwitchCon or anything like that anytime soon? Or are you going to be going to, have you ever been to any gaming conventions outside of like a Fortnite World Cup?
No, so the World Cup was my first one, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to TwitchCon, but I'm not 1,000% sure yet. And yeah, I'll probably be going to TwitchCon though.
What was that experience like being, surrounded by, thousands of people who enjoy doing what you do, either spectating, competing, or, just people as a part of the teams? What was that initial like reaction like getting up there?
It was a great experience. It was honestly really fun, like meeting all of my friends for the first time too that I've been playing with. Um, that was just crazy. It's a lot of fun cheering on my friends, and just like it was definitely a great little community. Like we were all very supportive of each other, and yeah,
That is pretty cool. And
yeah.
are there any, did you ever have like a favorite streamer that you got to meet while you were there?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, for the most part, I was just like, I was at a boot camp called Helix Esports. We were there just playing, doing scrims or whatever for most of the day. We'd get back at like 12 or whatever, and then just go straight to the hotel.
Makes sense. I mean, it sounds like you probably didn't even have a lot of time to watch other people's streams while you were, getting your homework done and playing 6 to 7 hours a night.
Um, yeah, I mean, I just sometimes I procrastinate a little, obviously, but yeah, for the most part, maybe like in between scrims, I usually like will pull up my friends or whoever is streaming the rest of the scrim, and I'll watch it and like kind of analyze what they're doing.
There you go.
So,
Were you ever able to like point out a bunch of stuff that kind of like put them in a better position for gaming?
um, yeah, but for the most part, it's usually like most of my close friends don't that I'm like talking to don't really stream like their scrims that much. Um, but yeah, we definitely VOD review together and help each other just grow as a better player.
It's awesome. As a part of your setup, is there a certain peripheral that's kind of helped you do what you do best? Like, do you have a favorite keyboard, a favorite mouse, or is it like a monitor that kind of helps you feel like you're set apart a little bit mechanically?
Not really. During the World Cup, I was using the Logitech G Pro Wireless, which is like what everyone almost was using. And since then, I've tried out three different mice. I'm looking at them right now: the Glorious Model O, the Final Mouse Air 58, and the Final Mouse Cape Town. And out of those, I've decided to switch to the Air 58 because it just fits my hand the best, and it's really light, and I like it.
There you go. So would you say your mouse is your favorite peripheral that you use right now?
Yeah, my mouse is definitely my favorite peripheral.
That's awesome. So is there, any tips that kind of like stand out that you'd like to give anybody, that if there's like somebody really, really pushing to get to do what you do, would you say that they should keep practicing and matchmaking, or just go find some people to, go scrim with?
Yeah, you definitely want to be scrimming if you're trying to play competitive Fortnite, and definitely surround yourself with smart players that can help you VOD review. I'd say that's a big thing.
It's definitely important. And that goes, to just about anything, whether you're trying to make your stream better or your competitive aspects. And honestly, it's truly, truly been an honor having you on the OPC podcast and kind of hearing a little bit more about your story. And it's really cool to see that. I believe you told us that you're a senior year of high school, and you've got a lot of really bright things coming your way. What's the number one thing that you're most excited about jumping into leaving school and jumping into this competitive world?
Yeah, so when I'm done with school this year, my plan is to take a gap year and see what happens from there. Maybe I'll go back to college part time or sorry, or something, and I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe I'll go back to college. Maybe I'll keep gaming. We don't really know, but it's kind of unpredictable, you know.
Well, all of us at OPSEAT and certainly myself, we wish you the best of luck, on this competitive journey that you're on. It's honestly enlightening to see, just a massive group of young gamers who are just showing everybody else up. It's so cool. So thanks for letting us be a comfortable part of your setup, and it's been an honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you for having me.